Hey, you. Yeah, you. What you doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm starting my week off right with Talking About the Blues podcast, baby.
What's going on? What's going on? You are now bluesing with the number one blues broadcast in New York City. Talking about the blues, baby. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, like the Facebook page, and subscribe to the website. Stay tuned for our live interviews, baby. Keep bluesing. Today, my guest is coming out of Atlanta by way of Georgia, Athens, Georgia. I'm talking to Stephan, the blues dude, Duncan. What's going on, my brother?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm well. I'm bluesing, baby. I'm bluesing. Now,
Amen.
yeah, I know. You blues hard. We're going to get to that. Matter of fact, let's just go right to it. You're a slide player with the Dobro. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's me.
All right, so let's take it back a bit. Me myself, I use the same weapon, you know. So we're not only brothers in blues, we brothers in dobro and slides. But why did you choose it? What inspired you to express the blues through that particular instrument?
It's just something about the way a dobro sounds. It took me a while to the sound that I wanted to make, to the music I wanted to make. What got me to acoustic music was one time at the Blues Music Awards, I heard Ruthie Foster. It was her and her guitar, and she had everybody in her hands. It just really moved me. I'm like, okay, this is what really the blues is about.
Right.
It's making the most powerful statement. It's making a statement with the least amount of words, with the least amount of instruments.
Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because a musician told me a joke. A jazz musician told me this joke. He said it was a joke, and then he presented it to me.
Okay.
He said, "Jazz is 1,000 notes. Only 4 people listen to, but the blues is 4 notes or 4 chords that 1,000 people listen to." Now, what you said reminded me of that because you said you how to captivate the audience and make them feel it and feel you with just enough words, not a lot, and not too much, exaggeration on the instrument. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Is that the essence of the blues? Now I'm asking.
To me, it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
to you it is.
To me, it is. In my opinion, it is. I think all you got to do is listen to Son House, and then you understand it.
All right now.
Because, hey, Son House playing another guitar, and, him singing People Grit in Your Face and Death Letter Blues and stuff like that, that don't get you down to the bone. I don't know what does, but to me, that captivates the blues right there where it is.
It does, the essence of it. And I mean, Son House is the reason why I am into and I am the blues like yourself. So you went to this award. You saw how this woman had everybody in awe.
Right.
So you also said that it took you some time to develop your sound. Let's talk about that.
Right, it did. It took some time to develop it. It took time to develop what I wanted to do. When I started into the blues, I had my electric guitars and stuff like that. Then, of course, I heard Ruthie Foster. Then I started going more to acoustic. Then, of course, you discovered Son House and the Resonators.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, some of the sound of national style guitar versus dobro.
Right.
Biscuit cone versus spider cone. And just something about the way the dobro, the way they sound to me. It's just a haunting sound that I just really got into it. It took some time to develop to get to that point. There's a local musician here got me along the way, a guy by the name of Little Brother.
Mm.
And he had some DVD lessons on little bit of slide, and also Piedmont style blues. Instead of teaching licks and stuff like that, he was teaching you songs.
Nice.
And so that started taking a twist on things. It's like, okay, now it's starting to make a little more sense.
Right. So, what was the first blues song you heard, if you can remember, that you heard that you said, you know what, this is in my blood, this is calling me?
I would say, like with everybody, probably with everybody else, when we started in the blues, we started with B.B. King.
Rest in peace. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. I just kind of felt like the blues scale sort of felt natural to me, but I got I'm talking about a DVD of B.B. King, an instructional video teaching his style of playing and stuff like that. And of course, B.B. King was talking about the people that influenced him. Booker White, Lonnie Johnson, Lon Lemon Jefferson, stuff like that. So I started, okay, let me listen to the people he was listening to.
Right. Well, I'm happy you brought that up, because as a blues musician, as a fan of it, and to the enthusiasts and all the people listening, you're probably the first who actually stated the journey in terms of learning to play the blues by the DVDs and then researching the different artists of your influence, their influence.
Right.
How important is that?
I think it's real important. Because, we look to the greats to start there, then you start learning from where they learned and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think that's all part of the journey.
It's a good way to get the original sound.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
I dig it. So now, let's fast forward a bit, because I see you've played at a lot of blues festivals. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Now, what was your first festival? Let's talk about the Cherry Poppin'. What was the first festival?
I guess the first festival was at probably locally here in Atlanta. The festival we have here every year in March called Chicken Raid. And that's held in March at a place here called the Northside Tavern, and that's held every year to remember the life of Mr. Frank Edwards.
Right.
Who was a blues musician originally born out of Washington, Georgia, and many years lived in Atlanta. He was a music maker artist. That's where his last album was recorded at. So every year, another mentor of mine, my cat, he puts together this festival every year to, raise money for the local musicians we have here, for the local legends, Mike Albert White, Eddie Tigner, Feather Guitar Watkins, and people like that are blues legends that are still amongst us.
Right.
Try to help them out a little bit.
Well, let's let the audience understand. Music Maker is a foundation that helps pay the bills, give health benefits, or give housing and things of that nature to blues artists that, original legend of the blues type artists that are not doing well financially.
Right.
Right? That's what they do, right? So this is what we're talking about.
Right. That's what they do.
Okay.
So that's really my first festival I got to be part of, and I've been a part of it several years since then. I think first time I played there was like 2010, 2011. There was on Sundays they have a gospel jam.
Which is the blues.
People gather around, which is blues. People gather around in a circle and sing gospel songs.
Dig it.
Which I think Mr. Frank Edwards, he loved gospel music, so that's one of the reasons we do it, and it's a fun thing.
Absolutely. I mean, God gave us the blues, but we have to praise him through song, too.
Right, absolutely.
Hey guys, let me tell you how you can get official Talking About the Blues merchandise. Go to our online store at www.talkingabouttheblues.com, where you can purchase t-shirts, hoodies, mouse pads, mugs, and iPad cases. Once you receive your merchandise, send us a pic, and we'll post it on our website and different social media sites to let people know you are a part of the Talking About the Blues community. Keep bluesing.
So now you was at the Juke Joint Festival. Was this recent year that passed?
Yes.
How was that
This is my-
experience?
It was, oh boy, it's unbelievable. This is my second Juke Joint Festival. This year was unbelievable. I had a chance to, I was outside of I guess the day before the festival, I was busking outside of the Rock and Blues Museum, and I was playing a couple of Mississippi Fred McDowell songs, and had Watermelon Slim come and join me for a couple of songs.
Mm.
I mean, that was like, okay, I had to pinch myself for a minute.
That's huge. Now, you mentioned Mississippi Fred McDowell, another legend of the slide. He's another one of my favorite slide guitarists.
Yes.
Being as though we didn't speak about the others, and I'm saying this so the audience can understand that the blues dude gets to the festival, he gets it in, okay? Now, with that being said, how did this come about? So did you submit your original music? Did you audition? How did you get to the festivals?
I got to know the person that does the booking for the festival. The guy that does the booking for the festival, instrumental in putting the Juke Joint together, but his name is Roger Stahl.
Mm-hmm.
He owns a store down in Clarksdale called Cathead.
Mm.
And what they do, they sell a lot of blues paraphernalia, a lot of CDs, DVDs, books, T-shirts, you name it, he's got it.
Mm.
And he's the one that's instrumental in starting the Juke Joint Festival. He's also instrumental in helping bring blues back to Clarksdale.
Mm.
So he organized it. Somehow I got to know Roger Stoll, and I just got to know him, and I said, okay, when should I email you for possibly getting into the Juke Joint Festival? Because by that time I had already been to Clarksdale a couple of times for the Pontop Perkins workshop, and as well as the Pontop Perkins homecoming.
Nice. And you played at the homecoming, yeah?
Yes.
Mm.
I think 2012 was my first one, and I've done the past two.
That's groovy. So you also have original, not only do you play covers of the original and the vintage blues musicians, but you have original songs as well.
Yes, I do. Kind of in those styles, too.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say we're bringing it back because didn't necessarily go anywhere. If you listen to most music, you'll hear bits and pieces of it, but you're keeping it on the original official sound. So now,
right,
when you sit down, let's talk about your songwriting process when it comes to the blues, the Delta blues, that is, because that's a different songwriting process.
Right.
Walk us through that, brother.
Sometimes it's a thought that just comes out, or when it comes to the guitar or the slide, it's I think with Delta blues, I think of finding a beat, finding a rhythm that kind of goes, and sometimes the words just come out.
Mm-hmm.
I might be coming up with trying to get it sound closer. Okay, this song maybe I can imagine Sunhouse doing, or Muddy Waters, or something like that, or one I written not too long ago that they've done a kind of a style that Mississippi Fred McDowell would do.
Mm. Groovy. Do you work with or part of the Music Maker organization?
No, I don't. I've just been blessed to work with some of the musicians.
Right, like Shelton Cotton Poe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, Shelton and I had a chance to play together at the Juke Joint Festival this year, which was really something I was really happy with. We've been wanting to do that for a long time, and it happened this year. We could do it.
The blues, that's what music is about. So, what? Let's talk about when you're at these festivals, or you're out in Clarksdale, or you're out in the spots where y'all playing. What's the vibe like? You're there, you got another guitarist there, you got a harmonica player there, more than likely, maybe not, and you just have people walking through the streets, and you guys just set up. And just start wailing on that apparatus, or how does it work?
Well, for Juke Joint, of course, there's like 12 different daytime stages, so it's already set up where they got a PA and everything, so you show up there with your guitar, maybe your amplifier, and you play, and people are walking along. Usually people stop, sit, and listen to you, and that's pretty much how it comes about. There's been times, of course, there like weekend of King Biscuit and Pine Top Perkins Homecoming and stuff like that. I'll go up and ask Roger at Cathead or Theo DeBosch, the owner of the Rock and Blues Museum, and they'll let me busk outside of their place, so you can basically a street musician.
Which is what most of them were.
Right. I mean, which it is. That's what it is. It's busking out there. But it's pretty cool to play the blues down there because it doesn't come spontaneously. And it's just something. To me, it's something really cool about hearing. If there's been a couple times that I've been busking out there, and I think, okay, nobody's around, nobody's listening to me. I don't see anybody or anything, but it's just cool hearing my slide, hearing the sound of my dobro in the Delta air.
Yeah.
It's just I can't describe it. It's just one of those feelings.
Yeah, you're talking to the ancestors of the blues, and they're talking back.
Right. You feel that energy.
Yeah.
And at Cathead, right there on the sidewalk, there's a plaque of Funhouse. Right there on the Funhouse. So if you're over there playing, you got Funhouse looking at you.
That's
while you're
gotta
playing.
be the.
So it's like you feel like, well, okay, I better get this right.
That's right. That's
Lightning
right.
don't strike me.
So how's the blues scene in Atlanta? Now I know, because I know there's a couple of, well, not a couple. There's more than a couple. There's a whole slew of great artists out there. But just in terms of how do you feel either the blues scene is out there for the Delta blues?
Sometimes it's a struggle. There's a lot of the blues clubs you go to where they want to book bands. There's been there's one here that's been pretty good to me. Darwin's, as well as Fat Matt's Rib Shack, has let me come in and play. I'm regular at Fat Matt's Rib Shack now. Good. So that's been a nice door in for there. And Darwin's has been good to me and let me come in and open for a few people.
That's good. So you know what? Let's talk about that. It was just you and your guitar, and you made a really important statement that we need to discuss. You said that most of these venues are looking for bands. So how is it being a true Delta blues player where you're just like a nomad with a guitar? What's that like? And how can you maneuver in a situation where most venues are looking for bands?
Okay, sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes it's a struggle. Usually if I get lucky, I get to open for somebody. A lot of times I'm marketing myself toward coffee shops. Okay. And more singer-songwriter type thing.
Which pretty much what it is.
Not necessarily blues, but
Kinda.
Right.
Delta blues, country music. I'm not sure where we can, what category to put like a James Taylor or folk like that, but
right.
That's all singer-songwriter, so to speak, right?
Right.
Wow, that's interesting. So I guess that you know what that means. That means that me, you, Shelton, we got to get like 4 or 5 other people and just do like a real Delta blues tour where it's just, cats on acoustic.
Right, absolutely.
Because it sounds like, because I know people are looking for it, but it just sounds like it's not readily available for whatever reason. So in your experience with this, do you think it's the venues, the promoters not thinking that just an artist and his instrument and his songs can hold down the crowd? Or, what's your thoughts on that?
I've heard that mentioned at least once, that someone didn't think that an acoustic can hold an audience for 45 minutes or something like that, but I disagree.
Absolutely.
It depends on the performer, it depends on the venue, it depends on the event. Some people like some relief from the band because sometimes the bands get too loud.
Right.
Some people like their ears to get a little bit of relief too.
You're right. One of the best things about the Delta blues, the Sun House blues, the Charlie Patton is really like the first rock star. Maybe we should. It's hard to leave him out, but what I'm getting to is that intimate interaction between the artist and the audience when it's just you, the acoustic, and whether it's 5 people or 1,000, it's just more of an intimate conversation between the two. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I would agree with that, absolutely. And I think that's the essence of the blues right there.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to remember back in those days, Charlie Patton, Robert Johnson, and the Sun House, they were the entertainment.
Yeah.
It was either them and maybe 1 or 2 other musicians. That was it.
Yeah. Willie Brown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was it.
Hey, y'all, this is Mrs. D. You can hear Talking About the Blues podcast on Podomatic, YouTube, and iTunes. Remember to rate the show and show us some love.
Well, so now let's talk about slides right now.
Yes.
Okay. My favorite is the copper slide, and of course that's because of Sun House. And I like the sound. Mm-hmm. You know, and it also depends on what song you're playing, right? But we know Muddy used glass from time to time. We know that Mississippi Fred McDowell had this really small slide on his finger that was really looks like it was great for control. What's your personal favorite and why?
I use my favorite is kind of a glass silicone type of slide, kind of like things stuff like marbles are made of.
Mm.
And it's not too big. It's not small like Mississippi Fred McDowell. It's kind of in between.
Okay.
But it feels really smooth going across the strings, and it's kind of sound I really like. And the slide is real comfortable to me.
So how important is it to have a slide? And this is a real basic ABC question, but for our listeners who aren't familiar with this part of it, they're just familiar with what they like to hear. How important is it to have a slide that actually comfortable suit you rather than just getting a slide to mimic a blues musician from the past?
Right. Well, I think it's important to get the slide that fits you the best. In my case, that's what it took me some time to find the right one that works for me, and I finally did, and I've stuck with it. Because, when you go to play and slide, the guitar becomes a different instrument.
Yes.
It's not the same instrument. It's just, there's a lot of different accents and different things you can do with the slide, and learning to control the slide as well.
Right.
So, I get my influences on slide come from people other than blues musicians.
Okay.
I actually pick up, stuff from watching bluegrass, dobro players.
Right. Absolutely.
Like Josh Graves with Flat and Scruggs, Jerry Douglas. People like that. You pick up, there's a lot of little things that you, especially if you're playing a dobro.
Right.
It's just different little sounds that you can make to just get a little different accents to the instrument. I mean, of course, Muddy Waters and stuff like that, but you take that and you mix it with other influences, and that makes a difference. And also, pedal steel guitar players, too.
Yeah, man.
You watch them, you try to listen to that, you try to get what they're doing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So now, let me ask you this. What do you want the people to receive when you're out there from you and your music? I
guess just, I want to be entertained and to know that the old blues is still alive. And still alive and still well. Still has a lot to say. That's
right. That's right. What's next for you? Do you have a new album coming out?
Hopefully within this year or so, or next. I hope to get into the studio and record a few songs and get something out. Right now, I've been going around with a demo CD. I've been selling to people and stuff like that, and I got some stuff on my Reverb Nation page that people in YouTube people can check out.
That's right. Now let them know what your YouTube page and Reverb page is.
I think Google Stephen the Blues Dude. It'll come up on YouTube. I don't quite have a page yet. But my Reverb Nation page is reverbnation.com/Stephen the Blues Dude. And then I also have my own website, StephenTheBluesDude.com.
That's right. Now, I hope you guys are paying attention because he made it clear that as he's out there playing, he's selling his music because this is the grassroots movement. This is an independent movement. This is what independent artists do because we love it. But at the same time, it is a business, yes?
Yes, it is. It is.
What's your thoughts on, because the music that you and I love so much was on vinyl. I mean, some of them were on 78s for that matter.
Right.
And before that. So what's your thoughts, what's your feelings on it now? Everything, even though it's going back to vinyl, but everything is so digital, like MP3, iTunes. Does that help or hinder or...
Well, I'm not sure at this point. I guess at this point in my career, anything pretty much helps.
I dig it.
Just getting anything out there pretty much helps.
You know, it's a learning process. It's a learning process. You know.
It sure is. It sure is.
Are you on Twitter?
Yes.
Or to let them know the Twitter handle.
It's at Stephen the Blues. StephenTheBlues.
That's right. We've been chopping it up with Stephen the Blues Dude about his blues journey. Now, before we wrap up, do you play bluegrass or folk or anything, or you listen to all music, but you just incorporate that into your blues?
I might incorporate into my blues, or I might, occasionally I might do, in my sets, I might do a couple of Flat Scruggs numbers, but I kind of blues it up to what I do.
I dig it.
Kind of slow it down a little bit for what I do, but you know, a lot of their music too, it's still, even though it's sped up quite a bit, it's still kind of blues, sort of.
Yeah. Brother Blues Dude, man, it's been great chopping it up with you about the blues. We got to get you back on here. Matter of fact, we might even see if we can get it with me, you, and Shelton up here talking, but definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do that.
Cool. Keep me posted with your music and everything.
I definitely will. Maybe we get up there to Brooklyn, we can play some together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually in the works of putting a show together that would be definitely monthly, but we're not sure how many times a month. And we definitely got to get you guys out here, and
Yeah, that would be great. I got in-laws up there, so that would be fun. That would be fun for me.
All right, let's do it. Y'all been bluesing as usual. Lamar Jack Dabber Pearly and Stephen the Blues Dude Duncan. And remember two things if you don't remember nothing: keep God first and keep bluesing, baby.